Okay, good morning. This is a hearing, okay, for a proposed ordinance which will be voted on at the commissioners' meeting today, which starts at 10:30. We'll call this meeting to order. Is there a motion to open the hearing?
So moved.
I will second. All in favor? Aye. All right. Just for people to note, this is there's a stenographer here transcribing this meeting. This is something that's required by the state when approving an ordinance like this. And just for a brief description, ordinance one, so actually I should do call to order. Just in terms of those present for this hearing, in terms of we have the solicitor, Ms. Amy Fitzpatrick, Diane Nelson-Mersegna, County Commissioner, Bob Harvey, County Commissioner. This would be Ordinance 172, which will be voted on later at the Board of Commissioners meeting. It's a ordinance of the County of Bucks, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, enacting a tax rebate program for volunteer members of fire companies or nonprofit emergency medical service agencies and establishing administrative procedures and appeals. Just by way of background, a law passed by the Commonwealth in 2016 allowed local municipalities and I believe school districts to do tax abatements for members of volunteer fire companies or rescue squads. This is a step being made to mitigate the problems in staffing that are being seen by our fire companies and other first responding agencies in terms, especially when it comes to volunteers. And so a number of municipalities have enacted various programs to try and provide some kind of financial incentive to try and get volunteers to join or retain the volunteers who are there. This is something that is it's a Commonwealth problem, and I'm sure it's gone nationwide as well in terms of people not volunteering as they used to. The statistic that we keep hearing, I know was in the report that our Planning Commission did a few years ago, was that in the 1970s, we had about 300,000 volunteer firefighters just in Pennsylvania, and it's somewhere probably a little below at this point, 30,000 right now. And so when it comes to serving the public, this is why you're seeing some companies in this county and other places go to having a full-time staff, of a few firefighters who are always on duty and always able to respond, just to make sure that they're guaranteeing the safety of their residents and property owners. This is a step being considered by the commissioners as a way of further incentivizing volunteers for our first responders, emergency medical services, rather volunteers and firefighters. Let's see. I'll turn it over to our solicitor, Amy Fitzpatrick, who's done a tremendous amount of work on this, to add anything I may have left out.
You didn't leave anything out. Thank you, Commissioner. We will receive public comment at this time. As Commissioner Harvey indicated, this hearing is for the extremely limited purpose of discussing the tax rebate program that's proposed and that will be voted on separately at the 10:30 a.m. Board of Commissioners meeting. But to the extent there are members of the public who are here who would like to comment on the proposed tax rebate program, you'll have the opportunity to step to the microphone and speak for 3 minutes at a time. Because the hearing is being transcribed, please speak slowly or more slowly than you might ordinarily, and be sure to introduce yourself by name. Is there anyone who'd like to speak on behalf of the program this morning? If you'd like to just line up at the microphone.
And as stated, just state your name and your municipality, please.
Good morning. My name is John Gundy. I'm the Bucks County Fire Marshal.
Can you pull the microphone a little closer, Mr. Gundy? Sorry, thanks.
And to my right is Tim Chamberlain, Deputy Chief of the Yardley-Makefield Fire Company. So good morning. I am the Fire Marshal for the County of Bucks and a life member of the Langhorne Middletown Fire Company. And to my right is Tim Chamberlain, Deputy Chief of the Yardley Fire Company and second-generation volunteer firefighter. This proposed tax relief ordinance by the Commissioners is a great incentive for volunteers to join the service. As the world around us changes and the need for volunteers to provide our emergency services, any financial benefit is a win-win for our communities. Many departments in our in our county, fire and EMS, struggle with trying to recruit volunteers and to keep members as the training requirements and service requirements become more and more with less and less members. These organizations need members to run their day-to-day activities, whether paying the bills, cleaning the apparatus, or responding to emergencies. This real property tax relief incentive will allow organizations to have a new tool for their toolbox to recruit new members and to show that the commissioners are backing our volunteer men and women. It will allow current members to use that financial benefit for fuel, childcare, while at meetings, training, or many other activities that their volunteer organizations require. In closing, volunteer organizations provide a much-needed service that requires hours of participation and time. This proposed tax relief incentive will help many volunteer organizations into the future. And it also shows our commissioners are serious about their commitment of these volunteer organizations here in Bucks County. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
As John said, my name is Tim Chamberlain, Deputy Fire Chief for the Yardley Mayfield Fire Company. Growing up in the fire service since I was about 6 months old, seeing the amount of volunteers that we had back then to now being one of the leaders in the department, I see the drastic change that has occurred from the amount of emergency calls we answer to the extracurricular activities that we do with fire prevention, public events, and so forth. I've seen a lot of volunteer firefighters leave because of cost of living in the area, time commitment to families and kids. They just don't have enough time to commit to the volunteer fire service. With this incentive, I believe it's another tool, as Fire Marshal Gundy said, in our toolbox of recruitment and retention for our volunteer firefighters to come into our departments and help us with anything, whether it be administrative duties, firefighting duties, fire prevention duties. There's a lot of aspects of the fire service that it's not just having to put the gear on, but it's also behind the scenes. So I'm very happy to see something like this. I'm in support. The whole department is in support of this. So I'm looking forward to hopefully going through with this and having another tool in our toolbox to recruit and retain our members. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ed Mackas from Buckingham. I'm not a volunteer fire department person, but I've attended pancake things and stuff, and I really appreciate how dedicated these people are. They risk their lives to go and save people. They do a tremendous amount of training and stuff to do their job, and I think this is not much support. I think all the support you can give them is good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Commissioner, before you adjourn, there are two exhibits that I'll ask be attached with the hearing transcript. The first is the advertisement that was placed in the Intelligencer on September 1st, advertising this hearing and the proposed ordinance, and the second is a copy of the draft ordinance itself. These would be Exhibit 1 and Exhibit 2, respectively.
Okay, thank you. Before we conclude the hearing, any comments from board members or questions? No? Okay. All right, is there a motion to adjourn the hearing?
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.